This video is concerned with just-in-time and lean operations. You'll see on the screen it says part 2. There are several parts to our discussion of JIT and lean operations, and it's important, of course, that you look at each one and make your own notes and do some research in the area, some reading, and make sure you've got a good comprehensive understanding of the issues associated with just-in-time and lean operations. It's an important topic because it's one that has come to the fore in the last probably couple of decades, and it's one that is in the literature a lot and is talked about a lot. We need to understand what it means and look at some of its implications, and that's why the number of videos are so many in this series, and it's important that you look at each of them. So let's start and talk about just-in-time. Now, a powerful strategy for improving operations. This is an extremely interesting proposal. Before I get into it, I'm just going to say immediately that strictly it means that production only happens just in time. Everything is just in time. There is no wastage, there's no inventories, there are no stocks waiting to be used. Everything happens just in time. Production is just in time. So the terminology is a clue to what it is. It is just in time. Materials arrive where they are needed, when they are needed. So the materials only arrive where they're needed and when they're needed. So there's no wastage here. This is peak efficiency. The materials arrive to the machine for processing when they're needed, and they're at the right machine ready to be processed. Identifying problems and driving out waste reduces costs and variability and improves throughput. So wastes are reduced, and that improves the efficiency of the system. That improves the throughput, the efficiency from start to finish, from the time the order is taken to the time the customer receives the goods. That time is reduced, it's minimized, it's a more efficient system, and less variability. Variability is expensive. Variability means machines have to be stopped and retooled, and workers have to be moved around. Variability is expensive. More standardized production, which is more efficient. And it depends, of course, on the nature of the product and the acceptability of that standardization to the customer. But where it's possible, this is how efficiencies come about. It does mean meaningful buyer-supplier relationships. The buyer, let's say in this case a company buying raw materials from a supplier, then the supplier must understand that the deliveries are crucial on the particular day, because that's the day they are needed. The deliveries should be just in time. Everything is just ready to start production and the deliveries arrive. They arrive just in time to keep everything moving. Strictly, they arrive almost at the instant they're required. I mean, it's too much to ask in reality, but ideally that's the way it should work. So there is no wasted effort or time, and nothing is held in stock, nothing's queued up, and nothing is waiting. Now, JIT and competitive advantage. Well, suppliers, efficient deliveries direct to the work area. So the suppliers deliver, let's say, the raw materials directly to the work area. They don't deliver them to some store and the store then has to move them again to the work area. They're not delivered to one place and then moved to another place. They're delivered directly to the work area, ready to be used immediately. So they're not handled several times. So the layout should be group and flexible working. If one person's away ill, work carries on. And the workers are flexible. They're able to deal with different situations and able to run different machines, and the workers themselves are keeping an eye on the quality of the output and making sure that everything is optimized. They have been trained to do this. Inventory may be, in the sense that it's moving down the line, may be maintained in parts bins, specialized parts bins. So sometimes a stock of material will have to move down the line because it's been added at different points in the production process. They'll be held in specialized parts bins which should clearly distinguish what they're needed for and almost when they're needed within the production process. And there should be scheduling and an adherence to schedules. The Kanban technique, which is the subject of a separate video, could be used. It's a very simple technique. Simply a Kanban card stating the order, the date the order was placed, and the particular part. So how many were ordered, what date they were ordered, and the particular part number. Now that should go into a bin, a physical bin, and that will tell the users what exactly is in the bin and what the bin is used for. So Kanban, very simple, but it could be used throughout the scheduling. The subject of a separate video, and suggest you have a look at that. Preventative maintenance. Ensure that the machines are maintained, even though they're not broken down. Just on a routine basis, perhaps every week, every machine is looked at and re-oiled and cleaned and made sure it's in good peak working condition. So it's preventative maintenance. And the operators should have techniques to ensure that the machine is run appropriately. The operators should be trained to, in a sense, look after the machine as well. And quality production. There should be statistical process control and good checks on quality. Sometimes the workers are the best source of quality information. Workers know what the parts are, and they know what the dimensions of the parts are, and the workers can keep an eye on it. They're involved at each step. So as the work moves through the various stages of production, the work has been monitored by the operator at that level. So there is almost continuous inspection for quality, and that means no defects, no waste, no returning to the start and wasted raw material, wasted time, wasted effort. It means the product is moving continuously and with good quality. And the workers are empowered. They're given training and they've got flexibility in roles. The workers are important within the process. It's the workers who move the whole process forward. So they are properly trained and supported and acknowledged as a very important part of the whole process. And commitment. The management should recognize the contribution of the workers, and they should be motivated accordingly, and they should be congratulated when the job is well done and completed on time. They should be recognized for their contribution. They are not parts of the machine, they're humans, and they should be properly motivated. Now, JIT and competitive advantage. Well, rapid use of assets frees them up. If the assets are used properly and speedily, then they're free for some of the time. They're ready to be used for other purposes. Better quality reduces waste, so keeping an eye on the quality. There's no rejects and there's no wasted effort. Cost reduction may lead to lower prices, so the company can gain competitive advantage, can gain greater market share, and maybe promotes itself within the market and fights off competition. There is less variation in production, so the workers see the work coming through on a continual basis, and the management have the benefits that it's high quality because the workers are motivated and they see what's happening and they're involved. And there are less rejects at the end. There's no need to have rejects because the quality has been maintained throughout. So better customer service and lower cost. These could be two of the big outcomes of having this system. Now, JIT partnerships. Well, JIT partnerships exist when a supplier and a purchaser work together to remove waste and drive down costs. And this means that JIT partnerships are, the companies are working together for their mutual benefit. It could be that one company, the buyer, let's say, has access to the other company's database on supplies. So it knows what's been held by the other company in terms of stocks, and it can order electronically on the database, and it knows when the items will be scheduled for delivery. So it's able to plan more effectively because it's got permission to access the company's database. There are 4 goals of JIT partnerships, and these are removal of unnecessary activities. That's central to the whole idea of lean production. Get rid of unnecessary activities, unnecessary paperwork or contacts or unnecessary activities of any sort. Get rid of them. They're not adding value to the product. They're unnecessary. So they're just time consuming and a waste of resource. Try to remove the in-plant inventory. Try to remove the necessity for the stores. Try to eliminate holding stocks if possible, so that the company is able to draw off the supplier's stocks as and when necessary. And the supplier can give good assurance that it will make the deliveries as per the schedule. There's no waiting. The lorries arrive just in time. Make the delivery directly to the point where it's going to be used in production, not into a central store to be reallocated, but the supplier goes right into the business and delivers at the point where the items are required for the first process. So there's no in-plant inventory. And there's no removal of in-transit inventory. There's no sending items forwards and backwards to the store, making the item now, putting it into stores and drawing it out later to be completed. Or there's none of this. It is all planned out effectively from the start. The item runs through from start to finish and dispatched to the customer. And of course there's greater quality and reliability because the workforce are recognized for their contribution. They're adequately trained. They're watching the output all the time. They know what the quality required is. So there is constant monitoring of quality right throughout the process, and hence greater reliability as to the quality, and also towards the running of the system, the machinery and the various processes. It's all reliable because it's been monitored throughout, and there's good and adequate feedback provision given to the workers to feedback any issues or anything they want to raise about the whole system. Now, suppliers and buyers. Well, the suppliers use local suppliers if possible. No point in having the item coming from the other end of the country. That's a waste of transport as well. But try to use local suppliers, depending on the price, depending on calculations, but local suppliers would be best because they are more flexible and they're near hand, and there's a better possibility of working with them in a JIT situation. And share the JIT techniques with the suppliers. Just share them so they know exactly what the company is doing and what the company needs and when it needs it. And concentrate on core competencies. Concentrate on what the suppliers do best and deal with them for that function, because that's their expertise. That's what they specialize in doing. Those are the raw materials they're best at supplying. Those are the components they supply best. This is their core activity, so deal with them on that basis. So the company may have many suppliers, but isolate the company in terms of their core competencies. Use frequent small orders if possible, and try to continuously check for efficiencies. Use frequent small orders means that there's a constant supply coming through. Don't run everything to the last nut and bolt, because if the lorry breaks down on the way, the machines will stand idle. So some modicum, some small amount perhaps of just reserve, just a small amount of reserve, perhaps half a day's worth of reserve might be worthwhile holding. But use small quantities so the orders are coming through and there's no reliance on one big order where that will be delivered and then most of it will sit idle until it's wanted, until it's needed. Use the small orders because they will be used up efficiently and quickly. And always check for efficiencies to see what the economics of the whole process is. Is it efficient? The buyers will share customers' experience and look at their preferences. So make sure that the customers' experiences are captured and fed back through the marketing department and the product development department and production, and see if there are any issues from their experiences. And look at what the customers want, what are their preferences. So always try to factor that in, because that's what's going to sell the product. Minimize product specifications and paperwork if possible. Always try to reduce paperwork. Always try to reduce hold-ups for form filling if possible. And don't involve the buyers in any of this if at all possible. Buyers don't like the idea of having to complete lots of forms and examine details and specifications and so on. Buyers like to know that the product that they ordered is the one that's been delivered, and they can do so in an almost painless, bureaucracy-free environment. And also develop long-term relationships. Try to work with the buyers and look at the buyers' concerns and work with them to develop a long-term relationship, because those will be the sources of future orders. And the quantities, well, produce small lots. Always try to produce small quantities if possible. Large quantities will require holding stocks waiting to be processed. That's a waste. And large stocks will have to be dealt with at the end, and sometimes the items in that going to dispatch will be held in dispatch for some time, because it takes dispatch some time to organize complete deliveries if it's a large order. So small deliveries, part orders delivered, might be the way forward. So check if that's possible. And produce the requirements only. Do not overproduce the items, and don't make elaborate products that were not ordered in the first place. Just produce exactly to the specification and in the quantity ordered. And above all, of course, avoid defects. Defects are 100% a waste of time and a waste of effort and a waste of resource. And between the suppliers and the buyers, build trust, because the whole idea of JIT and lean production is based on trust between one company and the next, between one company and its suppliers. There must be trust. They must believe that the supplier will deliver exactly on time when required, and they will deliver good quality product according to the order specifications. So trust is extremely important. Knowledge of the suppliers and knowledge of the buyers, for that matter, as much as possible. Try to build a business based around that knowledge, and that knowledge will foster trust. So that's all I'm going to deal with in this particular video. As I said, there are several videos on this topic. It's a big topic, so please look at this one, make your own notes, do some research, etc., and look at the other videos as well. So let's leave this one where it is and say thank you for watching.